Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your source for Second Amendment news. Thank you for all of the comments that are coming through in the last few videos. I read every one of them. I might not be able to respond to all of them, but I really like hearing your responses when I ask you a question about something that's going on. Today's not going to be much different. So this is an update on the Trump promised gun control. We've been seeing him the last couple of weeks saying he's going to attack or increase smarter background checks, universal background checks, more intelligent background checks. And yesterday, actually late last night, I got a message from somebody in Washington that that seems to be off the table right now. But before we celebrate, I want to throw some caution to the wind here. First off, it should have never been on the table anyway. We have background checks. You can't really make them more intelligent. But what the feeling is right now is that it possibly could be a result because the president spoke with Wayne LaPierre in the NRA. Now I'm calling bluff on that one, because if you remember a couple weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, I did a video in which the Trumpster was specifically asking his aides and his confidants that if the NRA still had any clout, because even he knows that they're in trouble. He's addressed it a few times. Now, what the articles don't tell you is that he also reached out to a couple other Second Amendment advocacy groups that are huge. Spoke with GOA, spoke with Second Amendment Foundation and others. But I personally do not think it's because he talked to Wayne LaPierre. I don't think Wayne LaPierre holds much stroke anymore. Not just because of the internal stuff, but because the climate of Washington hates the NRA. What I believe from some of the things I've heard in the last 3, 4, 5 days is that it's more likely a direct result of how many American citizens reached out and made their voices heard to their senators, to their representatives, and even to the White House. I've said a lot that you have to do those things, and I get a lot of people that always say it's not worth it, it doesn't work. This is when you see it work. There was a lot of pressure put on these people that now they're starting to, what we used to call in Louisiana, they're starting to do the crawfish. They're starting to back away from what their emotional response was to this incident. However, that does not mean we're not going to see anything, because Congress hasn't even reconvened yet. So what you're hearing is a bunch of quotes from Democrat staff members who are basically whining, saying, it's not done yet, and sucking their thumb and pouting. Okay, it can't happen yet right now because Congress isn't in session. So please do not let up contacting your reps, your senators, the White House, everybody you can, because it's starting to have an effect. I'm going to read you a quote that I have here. It's from an unidentified White House official who has conceded and said in referring to the president, he started to move on. If it were up to the president, he'd do background checks today, but that's not how it works. He loses patience quickly. Well, we already have background checks. In fact, yesterday, the president made a comment, and I'm paraphrasing, to the effect of, we already have very strict background checks, and it's more of a mental health issue that he wanted to bring the attention to. Well, bravo, because that is a huge part of it. And now he's flipped his script. He wanted some stringent, smart, intelligent background checks. Now he's saying, we already have those. But it's amazing how little people know about things, and then they try to act like they're the know-it-all on that subject. There's another quote I'm going to put out there. It's from, again, another unidentified Senate Democrat aide who asked to be referred to as, quote, a severely depressed staffer who's been through too many of these. But that snowflake said there is nothing happening. This is all Trump. It is all in his hands. No one is talking to Republicans or their offices. If the president says, quote, yes, I want to do it, it'll get 85 votes. If he doesn't, it doesn't. Meaning that if the president says he's for it, the Senate will vote, the House will vote for it, it'll get passed. Not necessarily, folks. That's not how it works. But the fact that we aren't hearing as much from our leaders is a good sign, but throw caution to the wind again. Like I said, September 8th or 9th, I think it's the 9th, is when Congress comes back to work. So they're not even in D.C. right now. They are chirping at their home states. They are working on bills that we've heard Mitch McConnell say once the Senate reconvenes will be taken up. He's already said red flag bill will be number one. He also said that background checks will be at the forefront and that a new assault weapon ban will be front and center. So please do not forget those. That is key information to remember, and it should motivate you to make calls if you haven't. So please don't read into the headlines you're seeing today. They're coming out today saying, background checks are off the table, Trump's not doing anything. Take caution with those, all right? Because the truth is they're not even at work yet, and they can't do that stuff until they get to the nation's capital. So please pass us along so that more of us like-minded folks know that these headlines are just looking to kick up those emotions again on the anti-gunners. In fact, I just got out of bed and came up here. I even have a wrinkled shirt on, but I bet when I go and turn my television on, there's going to be somebody somewhere, or when I do my research, that somebody's going to be complaining about it today, that Trump's going to do nothing. It's looking to incite their masses again. So it's our job to make sure we notify our masses, tell them the truth. You can do that by passing this video on. You can also help this video get seen by hitting that like button. It does make a huge difference. So please like and share. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Guns and Gadgets, because this is where you're going to get this type of news. And I bring it to you in a fashion that I hope is easy to understand, straightforward, no fluff, and about as fast as it hits sources that I have developed. So please consider joining. I would love to have you here. And until we see each other again, this is Jared from Guns and Gadgets. Be safe, stay vigilant, and carry your weapon. Take care, everybody.